A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. I'm Ritvika Gupta, and today we are marking a very special occasion, International Day of Persons with Disabilities. This episode is dedicated to celebrating the spirit of entrepreneurship that knows no boundaries. My first guest is someone who has redefined inclusion for the deaf community. Alok Kejriwal has transformed his personal experience into a national movement through his venture India Signing Hands. In the second segment, a special conversation lined up with Hani Bhagchandani, founder of Torchit, is using assistive technology to empower people with visual disabilities. I'm now in the studio with Mr. Alok Kejriwal, and joining him is Kinjal Shah, his translator. Mr. Alok, it's a pleasure to be chatting with you today on ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow. I humbly welcome you to our studio, and welcome to you as well, Kinjal, for being on Leaders of Tomorrow. So, Mr. Alok, I want to begin this interview by asking you, one of the most important questions. Now, you turned your personal challenge into a national movement. Tell me, what was that moment that inspired you to create India Signing Hands?
So ISH was not immediately set up. It was not possible. I will explain you how it went. I grew up, I am a deaf person. I am from Assam. It's a Marwadi family from Assam. And when it was difficult communicating with my parents, that time there was no communication. In the school, the teachers were not communicating. There were so many barriers. There was so much of frustration. I am deaf, and there were so many deaf people who had the same experiences like me. The problems were same. So then the ones who were experienced, we all got in together. We made, we decided that we wanted to give accessibility. But before that, in India, there are 30,000 babies who are born deaf every year. And these people will not have accessibility. There is nothing accessible in India. I wanted to give 100% accessibility to in school education, in communication, in entertainment, in jobs, in everything. So that is why I set up India Signing Hands and information.
You're absolutely right. Accessibility is often overlooked in mainstream conversations. But tell me, from a business standpoint, how did you see this as a viable business model? How did you identify the market opportunity in accessibility?
Yes, it was a business view. What you're saying is right. Business people also must understand that, businessmen must understand that accessibility is also what we need to give accessibility in entertainment and everything. They can make the opportunity for the deaf people. If you do not give the opportunity, there are 63 million deaf people in India, like me, who are purely deaf like me, who are missing out on all these opportunities. So as businessmen, we need to give them the opportunities, and through them you get more benefit, you get more business from the deaf community. 63 million people, you are getting 63 million potential customers.
Absolutely. So, for all the viewers today who are watching this show, who are hearing about ISH, for the first time, just walk us through the kind of work you do, in terms of accessibility, in terms of education, in terms of the kind of tools that you provide to help the community at large.
So first we started with ISH, a YouTube news channel, where we have captions and a voiceover in our news, and the deaf person is the anchor. Like you are an hearing anchor. We have deaf anchors who are signing the news, and then there is subtitles and voiceover to that. During the COVID time, there was there were so many barriers. Everything was closed. People couldn't go out. But if there was no accessibility on TV, whatever guidelines were given, the deaf would not know. My team stayed at home. They were working from home. All the safety rules that were announced by the government, whatever happened during the lockdown, everything was informed to the deaf through sign language. The news in ISH. And otherwise, without that, it would have been very difficult, and a lot of deaf lives would have been lost. Apart from that, we also have courses and then stories for kids through ISH Kids channel, where we make stories for kids in sign language. And then we have a call sign app, which also provides interpreter services between deaf and the hearing. So that's an interpreter service program that we have. Plus, we also have entertainment where we have ISL interpreter in movies, so that the movies are accessible. Then we have in education we have courses. So there are a lot of things that we are doing. So our team is very skilled in editing, in videography, in subtitling, in captioning, in voiceovers, in content writing. Everybody is smart. Yeah, most of the team can do everything except here. I'm a businessman. There are a lot of people who have my experiences. We've joined and we've empowered these deaf people, and the team decides what they have to do, and so that we can bring about a better change in our community.
You know, the awareness, the recognition, and the adoption of sign language in India is very limited. What do you think are the steps that need to be taken, especially from a policy point of view or public awareness point of view, that can help, more people to learn about sign language?
It is better now. There is improvement. The government, there are policies, there are rules now. The policy has been changed. It's already there. The government has already made the law. There is RPWD Act 2016. It's already there. There is a law. It's better now, but people and the entertainment industry or everybody in general, they do not follow the law. They do not follow the policies that are there, because there's not enough of awareness. There's no marketing for that. I want the government to keep a watch and make a system more strict and force people to follow the policy, follow the rules, the law that is already there about accessibility for the deaf, so that the deaf people will get 100% accessibility in education, in movies, in entertainment, in communication, in everything, and they can enjoy their life.
No, absolutely. That's very inspiring. But tell me, for businesses, for corporate India, how can they make their workplaces more inclusive? Not just in terms of day-to-day communication, but also in terms of hiring people and just to make the overall ecosystem more inclusive.
So, like for example, there are a lot of deaf people who are good at graphics, graphic design, photography, editing, everything. Except for here, they can do everything. Like how we have it in our company. I'm a deaf businessman. I can do stuff. I can run my company. There are such people who can run their own company. The other companies can hire them. Once you work with them, you will get better quality, smart, skilled people to work with. There are sometimes it happens that they are better than hearing employees as well, because they cannot hear. They are more focused on the work, and they give better output. Yeah, they can more time, 10 times more output than the hearing person, and you'll enjoy working and be happy with a deaf person, and you'll be successful as well.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Alok, tell us, what have been some of your biggest leadership lessons on this journey? What have been your biggest takeaways as an entrepreneur?
With ISH company, with my team, they are so skilled. The quality, the communication, the experiences that they have, they were all different varieties. Like Akhil Jinoy, his family has worked with me, and Mansi Shah, she's a coder. Her parents are deaf, and she's a hearing person. Her experiences, Akhil's experiences, my experiences, when we got together and we discussed and we set up the company, we discussed the problems and we thought about accessibility solutions. I had to listen to my team, and so that they can make the decisions. They were creative issues, and so that we gave better to the deaf community, and the deaf community is what they need. I listened to my team. I have empowered them. They are my entire team. I cannot keep on ordering. Maybe I am the boss, but they are creative people. There are different ideas. It's benefit. So when we discuss, we take ideas from everybody and then make accessibility. We solve the accessibility issue in all sorts of life, in education and entertainment and everything. So that's what I've learned.
And finally, as we are wrapping up this very inspiring conversation, tell me, what is your long-term vision for ISH, in the next 5 to 10 years, perhaps?
My vision is that for accessibility, everything becomes 100% accessible for in education. There is education in sign language. There are schools, colleges which provide sign language education. There are movies which are translated in sign language, even on OTT. Plus, there's communication through phone, through deaf hearing. There's full 100% accessibility in communication. And even in news channels, 100% news channels also have accessibility for the deaf. So it's 100% accessibility solution. Like how hearing people have accessibility in everything, the same ways, 100%.
Fantastic. Well, all the very best to you, and thank you so much for being on Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.